Welcome back. Welcome back to Young Tripp Reactions. Yeah. Insane. Absolutely insane. Such a damn shame.
You're watching Young Tripp Reactions, the show where rapper Young Tripp reacts to the latest videos on crime, drama, news, and so much more. Get ready, because the show's about to
Welcome
start.
back
Let's go.
to Young Tripp Reactions. The next video that we're going to do is people say black culture is out of control. Police body cam footage shows that officers are suffering. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, join the Young Tripp family. If you have any videos that you run across that you want to hear me react to on the channel, post it in my community tab or send it to me through my professional FB or Instagram pages. If you have any situations involving police misconduct, injustice, violations of civil rights, or anything like that, send that to me through my professional FB or Instagram page. Also, make sure you come follow me over on my professional FB and professional Instagram pages as well too. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. And let's get into this.
Police wearing body cams is the reason why black people are getting the boy who cried wolf treatment. It's the reason why all the equality that we've been screaming and fighting for is actually catching up to us. It's the reason why I can scroll on my FYP and on TikTok and on YouTube and on Facebook, and I can see a lot of these different other groups of people making really funny racist memes towards us. Now, at one point when white people were making these racist cartoons, they were exaggerating our features. They were being super dramatic with our culture. I'm looking at these other videos and they're just taking what they see off the internet and what they see from these cops on these body cam footage. And these body cam footages is really showing that not as afraid of the police as they say. Black people got this mindset when it comes to the law that just because we black, we are exempt. One of the main things that I see in these body cam footages is, oh, it's other people committing worse crimes than me. What the does that even mean?
Yeah, well, I've never heard that. Obviously she's heard that. If somebody is saying that is black, what does that mean? A crime is a crime. If you rob a bank but somebody unalives somebody, it's still a crime. Yes, unaliving somebody is a worse crime than robbing somebody, but a crime is still a crime, and you still did something illegal too. You don't try to justify a crime by somebody else's crime being worse than yours. So they unalive somebody. So yeah, the police should worry about them, but you robbed a bank and they shouldn't worry about you. No, that's not how it works. A crime is a crime. Yeah, there are other crimes that, that should be highly more investigated and justice should be served for, maybe faster, maybe because it involves a victim, like an actual person victim. Like if you unalive somebody, their family is impacted. The person got injured, so they suffered before they passed. Versus if you rob a bank, money is just taken out of the bank. If you rob the store, stuff is just taken out of the store. But at the end of the day, that store, that bank, the bank has to report that to the government. That store has to report that to its insurance. So yes, there is a such thing as a worse crime. It is a worse crime to unalive somebody over stealing something. But at the end of the day, a crime is a crime, and you should not be justifying another crime versus another crime. Just like in the Bible, a sin is a sin. You should not be, throwing one sin in somebody else's face because they did something else, and then you did something else and say, well, your sin was worse than my sin. That's absolutely crazy. A sin is a sin. It may be worse on paper, but at the end of the day, a sin is a sin. So the same thing, a crime is a crime. You can't justify somebody else's crime just because it was worse. You can't justify your crime. You can't justify you robbing a bank over somebody unaliving somebody, because a crime is a crime. You can't justify somebody else's sin because of your sin. You can't say, well, I just had a baby out of wedlock, but you unalived your child in a marriage, and then try to justify their situation versus your situation. No, that's not how it works. A sin is a sin. A crime is a crime. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. Let's continue.
A crime is a crime. Seeing these body cam footages is, oh, it's other people committing worse crimes than me. What the does that even mean? A crime is a crime. If you got caught, you got caught. It always goes into, oh, you just doing this because I'm black, you racist. But you were just committing a crime, though. How is he racist for telling you that you were committing a crime? Did black people fight to be equal or exempt? I'm confused. Everything can't resort to, oh, but I'm black, I'm black, I'm black. Y'all racist, y'all racist, y'all racist. And this is why, like I said, we're getting the boy who cried wolf treatment. Ain't nobody really giving a that racist no more, because people can visibly see crying racism over stuff that's not even racist. At this point, a motherfucker can't breathe. They racist. Like,
I mean, I get what she's saying, and like, yeah, you can't be quick to tell somebody's racist over, things that's not racist. If a cop says that I'm detaining you because you are suspect of committing a crime, or they actually saw you commit a crime, you can't be screaming, oh, you being racist. If it's actually fact that you committed a crime, that is not racist. That's why I hold cops, uncivilized mutt cops accountable, but I also hold uncivilized people accountable. Just like how I did the whole thing about Jamari Harris, Jamari Harris and his girlfriend Lashaya Herring, regarding what they did to their 4-year-old daughter, and they're black people. I did the whole thing about Miles Bryant, and the whole thing with Susanna Morales, and he was a black cop, right? So even like you could find black people on my channel that I react to and call them uncivilized mutts and all that. The same thing that I say about any other race or background of a person. I did the whole videos even on Rick Chow, and I love Thai and Chinese food and all that, and met tons of Thai and Chinese people that are great people that aren't like Rick Chow, so this whole thing about cops or people in generally being racist. Specifically, this video is about cops. Every cop is not racist. I believe that certain cops are, though. Like Derek Chauvin sitting on somebody's neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. I don't want to believe, but you have to have it in the back of your head as a possibility that Kim Potter was probably racist. How do you mistake a push button machine for a taser? How does that happen? So then you start thinking about people like that. There's several other cases where you can think about the person possibly being racist, but every cop is not racist because they stop somebody of color and try to investigate something, or they're accused of a crime and they want to detain them and ask questions, because that is their job, to detain you and ask questions, and that does not make them racist because they detain you and ask questions. They are allowed to do that. That is part of the law for them to detain you and then start investigating. Now, they do have to solve the case properly, or if it comes back to that it's more probably than not that you didn't do it, then they need to accept that and move on and not try to make it seem like it was you just because of skin color. Absolutely. That's where we start to get into holding uncivilized mutt cops accountable. But if you really did something, you don't get to say that, well, that person over there that's a different color than me, they committed a higher crime, a worser crime than me. No, you don't get to do that. That's not how that works. A crime is a crime, and a police officer should get over there to that other person who committed that worser crime too. Let's continue.
It's getting in social media. People can visibly see crying racism over stuff that's not even racist. At this point, a motherfucker can't breathe. They racist. Like, it's getting in social media. Don't make it no better, cause I don't know how to keep the internet. So it's like people ain't nobody taking it seriously no more. That's the reason why I said, you know what, I'm just getting my own.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it's true. Like, we thought that, not we, the culture thought that the body cams would somehow, some way prove that every white cop is racist and the police departments are being overly aggressive towards black people. And let me tell you what I see. I see a tale between two worlds. I see that when you capture people not doing stuff that they supposed to do, whether they black or they white, people don't even pay attention. And the only thing that they talk about, or the only thing that they highlight, is if and when, very rarely, because we don't really see a whole lot of it at all since they started wearing body cams and they started making it standard across most agencies. We don't see cops doing stuff that they're not supposed to do. We see people getting caught up in doing stuff that they not supposed to do. And a lot of that used to be swept right on under the rug. And the only reason that
I mean, there are cops who have done things they don't have no business doing. Let's not, I see that every day because I make the content of it. There are still cops doing things that they don't have no business doing. It's a matter of what party that you support that may not consider that as a problem. That's the difference. And I'm not going to get into all that because I want people to enjoy the video, not try to make it political. But it depends on what side of the aisle if you really want to see the real reality or not. There are still cops out there. There were body cams when Derek sat on Floyd's neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. There were already body cams then when Kim Potter, shot the guy when he was driving off in his car. Mistaking her push button machine for a taser. There was already body cams then. So body cams have been around for a little while now. So there are still cops out there doing things that they don't have no business doing because I make a video about it almost every day. So let's not get that, confused. But if for some people, if your Pacific Party that you support don't think that anything bad happened and it was okay what happened, then that's where you get into believing that it's usually the person's fault because your party says that, not because of you and your own actual opinion, because you're actually going off of your party versus going off of actual evidence and information of spitting certain narratives. Just like a person like myself, I've even said that Carmelo Anthony should have gotten a manslaughter sentence, not a 35-year sentence and be convicted of murder. He should have been convicted of manslaughter, not unaliving. He should have been convicted of manslaughter. And so that's my personal opinion. And there's a lot of people who believe that as well. There's a lot of people who also believe that Carmelo Anthony should have been convicted of exactly what he was convicted of unaliving. But a lot of people who believe that is a certain race and probably trying to just solve the case based off of race and not based off of actual evidence. They want to try to solve the situation with race. The same thing with those people who want to say that Carmelo was totally innocent, want to solve the case based off of race versus solving the case based off of evidence, versus a person like myself who's looked at the evidence and say, hey, he should have been convicted of manslaughter and gotten a 5 to 10 year sentence. So it all of that all has a factor into all that as well too. Just like there are people who believe that Derek Chauvin should have got a longer sentence and things like that. So all of that is all a factor regarding like unfairness through the justice system, not even just wearing body cams, but even throughout the whole justice system altogether regarding somebody of color who is black, Mexican, or Asian or something like that. So, yeah, let's continue. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification and join the Young Tripp family.
Started having more conversations, caught up in doing stuff that they not supposed to do. And a lot of that used to be swept right on under the rug. And the only reason that we started having more conversations about what people are doing is because the body cam footage became something that we was using with regard to, like, you know, the reaction videos or capture the moment or all of that other stuff. And so really it became something even better for police officers because they're now more protected by, you know, what people are accusing them of.
I wouldn't say that the police are more protected. I believe that it helps both sides to be able to prove the truth, not try to prove political truth, though. And I know people like Anton because of how he specifically what side of the aisle he's on, and like I said, not trying to get into all that, versus other sides that other people are on, plus people who are in the middle, people who pick based off of the actual evidence of the case, not off of what your political person feels and what they think, based off of real, actual evidence of a situation, of a case. Just like a person like myself, I play the videos just like I play the videos for you guys. I make a reaction video where I show the video of what happened, and I make a video where I put my cover art over the top and let you hear my actual reaction and hear my opinions. So I always release both versions of the video and listen to all different sides. And I also watch the video and get real close to the screen with my vision loss and make sure that I see the video how and get my profession of what I think of what happened within the video as well too. But I also release the video here on the channel so then you guys can see and give you guys' opinions of what happened as well too. It's up to whoever, if you want to pretend like you didn't see what you wanted to see, to continue the racist narrative of that didn't happen, or for people on the other side of the aisle that is trying to say something happened that didn't happen too, because you want some cop who was actually doing the right thing to go to jail. That's wrong as well too on the other side of the aisle. So, yeah. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification and join the Young Tripp family. Let's continue.
Versus police officers, because they're now more protected by, you know, what people are accusing them of, versus people just automatically taking other people's word for it. We can pull the body cam footage, we can see what's really happening, and then now we got to start holding people accountable. And so now it's very hard.
And it's not just about holding our people accountable. That's also, like I say too, Anton trying to pick a certain side, and I already know what side he's on and all that. I'm not going to get into all that. I've mentioned that in other videos and all that. But the body cam is to show the truth. If the truth is that the cop did something wrong, he punched the person in the face, he sat on the person's neck for 10 minutes, the cop did this or that, or the cop pulled out his push button machine and the person had their hands up and he or her still pushed the button and shot them and unalived them, then they need to be held accountable. Or they sicked the dog on them, on the person. They sicked the the canine on the person while they were cooperating, laying on the ground, and all of a sudden you see the canine eating the person, basically. The cop needs to be held accountable. It's not a one side that, oh, it's the black person always doing something wrong. Again, it's not even always that the black person is doing something right either. And it's not always that the cop is doing something right, and it's not always that the cop is doing something wrong either. It could be that the actual suspect is doing something wrong, or the alleged suspect is doing something wrong. It's not, that they're not, and it's not that the cop is always doing something wrong either. It could be either way. It could be that the cop has did something wrong, so they need to be held accountable. And then in certain other cases, it could be that the cop was doing something wrong. And then in certain incidents, it could be that the suspect, the alleged suspect, did something wrong. So it could be either way. And you have to have an open mind to it being that either way, regardless of how you vote politically or how you move politically. You have to be willing to see the evidence for what it is. I see the evidence in cases for what they is as a person who always wanted to be a police officer because I have to, right? And also when I'm doing these videos for you guys, I try to do that. I don't try to spin a certain narrative or none of that. I just tell it how it is, and I will give my opinion of what I think, but I'm also telling you the story how it is. When you read my descriptions, when you read my pinned comments, it tells the story from the actual facts of what it is, not what I want it to be. Like the incident with Miles Bryant, the former black police officer, in the whole situation with the young Mexican lady, Susana Morales. I didn't want that to be Miles Bryant who did that. You know what I'm saying? As another black man, regarding another black man and a black man that was a cop at that? No, but that's where the evidence led to, and that's just what it is. I could have said, once I seen that, watching that first 48 episode, I could have said, I'm not going to do a reaction to this if I wanted to be the type that, oh, I always want to save a black man. You know what I'm saying? No, the evidence is what the evidence is, and you have to tell it the way it is. The same thing regarding the whole thing about Nolan Wells, how I even spoke about that, about how the sheriff, oh, he just drowned, or he's just no longer here anymore. Oh, well, close the case. We're not going to investigate people who look like my nephews and nieces. You can't do that. You have to investigate the case regardless if a person looks like you or not. I'm going to investigate a case regardless if somebody is black like me. And if the black person committed the crime, they're going to go to jail. Or in the case of what I do now, since I can't be a homicide detective, I'm going to react to the case and give the evidence as it is. I'm not going to try to spin the narrative, or I'm going to say, well, no, I ain't going to do this reaction no more, or I'm going to close this out. No, I ain't going to release this because the alleged perpetrator is black. I'm not going to do this case anymore. No. I'm going to still do the case. And even if this person is white, black, everything. And that's why my channel is a good channel to want to watch for the real facts, regardless of what you feel about the situation. Just like I said, I feel that they railroaded Carmelo Anthony regarding his sentence, not the conviction, but the sentence. He is guilty of the crime due to Texas law. Texas law says he is guilty of the crime based off of their laws and what the jury heard in them applying the law. regardless of what other people may think. So that is that. So the same thing with these situations when the cop is wrong. He is wrong. That is that. What Derek Chauvin did was wrong. He sat on a man's neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds and unalived him. That is the facts. It was proven in 2 court of laws that happened. He got a state trial and a federal trial. Most people get a state trial only, and that is that. He got a state trial and a federal trial, and people want to hold a moment of silence for him over the real victim who was unalived, even though the real victim got a moment of silence for their anniversary death. George Floyd did too, but it's the fact that somebody held a moment of silence for the convicted unaliver, which is insane. So that's what I'm saying. It's not that it's just, black culture or black people out of control or Mexican people or colored people in general. There's Caucasian people who are out of control too. And again, there's times when the cop is wrong. There is times when the person is wrong, and it's based off an individual case. And you have to look at the real evidence and not based off of your political person. Not because you vote Republican or because you vote Democrat or whatever, and the Democrats, think this, and the Republicans think this, or a person being independent, a lot of independents think this right now about this case, or a lot of independents think, no, have your own opinion and look at the facts of a case, especially for people who are bloggers, YouTubers, people who wanted to be a police officer like myself. You have to look at the evidence of the case for what it is, regardless if the person looks like you or not. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. And regardless if they are the police, if the police is wrong, they are wrong. Derek Chauvin was wrong. Period. Let's continue.
For the culture, for the body cam footage, we can see what's really happening. And then now we got to start holding people accountable. And so now it's very hard for the culture because, let's be clear. Like, capturing police footage has been a thing for a long time. And I remember Cops, right? The show Cops, some of y'all may be, familiar with it. Other people may not have been, old enough to even be able to see that type of thing. But it was a show called Cops where they used to basically spend all of their time chasing white people. You used to see overwhelmingly white people going viral or having a conversation about the stuff that was happening on Cops. A lot of them were poor white people, and it was on the, cops getting ran down and arrested.
I know what show he's talking about. And of course, probably a lot of you probably know what show he's talking about. Yeah, I used to, I watch a lot of that. Sometimes I still watch it. That's true as well too, but it was all people. It wasn't just Caucasian people. It was all people, black, Caucasian, Asian. It didn't even matter. It was everybody. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification and join the Young Tripp family. Let's continue.
Drunk drive or white people, and it was on the, cops getting ran down and arrested and, drunk driving and on drugs and doing all kind of wild stuff all the time. And the show was incredibly popular, and it had a lot of seasons that was ran. But now we have real body cam footage, and it's changed from being produced as far as from an actual show to content creation. And so when we see all of this stuff, even the crimes, right? We can go back and we can look at the Ring cameras. We can look at the body cam footage. We can look at footage that's released from court. And so people are making their own determinations, and it's very difficult for somebody to say, oh, it's the police fault, or we're being prosecuted, or we're being persecuted and stuff. Because when the footage come out, everybody get quiet. Everybody act like it wasn't a thing, that like y'all wasn't having this conversation in the first place, and like everything is cool. But the reality is that it is like the boy who cried wolf, because until people start holding themselves accountable, until you start holding the culture accountable, it's very difficult for the culture and society to take you serious. When every single piece of footage and news report that we can pull shows black people killing black people, or that people really are guilty and the police officers are not the ones that are really implementing the crimes and stuff like that, is very hard. You may get one every year or two, or one every election cycle where, oh man, it's a white cop, but 99 times out of 100, it is people doing stuff that they're not supposed to do, going crazy.
Well, that's not necessarily true, because like I said, I have videos every day of running across, cops or just any person in general, being racist, saying something to somebody racist, a cop doing something they don't got no business doing, or some type of racist Karen or somebody like that. So it's not always a cop, but a lot of times it is, and you always find a cop somewhere doing something they don't have no business doing. Now there is times where it's more high in those places where more racism takes place at, like Mississippi or Alabama or Georgia or somewhere like that. That is true. That is more where those things may take place when there's not an election maybe taking place, and then when an election takes place, some type of crazy thing happens. I don't know if that's something if that just happens, or if something is behind that. We'll probably never know. But you have places like within 2020, when you think about like George Floyd, I think that was close to like an election time, and then that happened. The thing about Kim Potter and all that was like some months later, and then the thing with Rayshard Brooks was not too long later, after a certain somebody got elected into office, and then so it's just we'll really never know the real truth to all that. But there are cops out here who do be doing things they don't have no business doing. Let's not pretend like there isn't. But if you're on a Pacific side of the aisle, you're going to always side with the police and back the blue, and think that it's always the other person who did something wrong, even though a police officer been sitting on somebody's neck for 10 minutes, just because you want to back your political side and not back the truth. Let's continue.
The cursing cops out, but 99 times out of 100, it is people doing stuff that they're not supposed to do, going crazy, cursing cops out. And where do y'all get that from? Like, where did y'all get to the point to where we think that just because somebody put on a uniform that they deserve to be cursed out, or they deserve to be treated less than, or they deserve to be treated like scum just because they got the uniform on, and you feel like you can do that because now you can capture it on camera and they're not able to do something about it. That's crazy to me. But yep, I agree with her 100%. She's 100% right.
It was clear as fucking day. I remember it. We got a whole police accountable, and then they started releasing body cam footage. Whew, all right, slow your fucking roll. After watching all those police body cam videos, blood of Jesus, I became pro police myself. Holy fucking shit. Legit, stop asking for the body cam. It's over.
Look, I understand that not all cops are good cops, right? There are some bad apples out there. But the way some of y'all be acting in these body camera and police chase videos on this app is crazy. It's crazy. And I could not be a cop. I could not do it. I could not be in law enforcement. Y'all don't know how to act. And this isn't a race thing. This is everybody I've seen. White, black, brown. It don't matter. hooting and hollering.
Facts. Now, I like what this lady's saying, because this is what everybody should have been saying. Let's continue.
I saw a video of a girl do it. I could not be in law enforcement. Y'all don't know how to act. And this isn't a race thing. This is everybody I've seen. White, black, brown. It don't matter. Hooting and hollering. I saw a video of a girl the other day. She got into a fender bender. The guy she hit, his truck was fine. Her car was messed up. The cop's coming over. Is like, hey, ma'am, I'm just trying to get some information. Can I see your license? I have to write a report. She's like, no, leave me alone. She's running around, screaming, hooting and hollering. and then when his coworkers pull up, it's just all hell is breaking loose. Ma'am, give him your ID so he could go.
That is crazy. Just give the person give the police officer your ID, your driver's license, so then he can continue with the process. You're delaying the process of you being able to get back to the rest of your day, and and maybe you may have to rent a car and all that, and that may be irritating, but it's better than you losing your life. Let's continue.
He wants to go. When his coworkers pull up, it's just all hell is breaking loose. Ma'am, give him your ID so he could go. He wants to go home, or he wants to go back on patrol, or he wants to clock out. Let that man be. What are we doing?
So I finally got my hands on the brown, buckleless belt loops. And no...
What do you mean? He wants to go home, or he wants to go back on patrol, or he wants to clock out. Let that man be. What are we doing? What do you mean? What? Now again, sometimes cops be on a power trip. And listen, I'm all for you knowing your rights and not letting a cop essentially take your rights away, right? And standing your ground and being firm. But sometimes it gets to a point, dog. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Most times.
What do you mean you're upset that the store...
Anton got to stop with most times. He got to realize, see, Anton, he really kind of be ticking me off, but, I really like, a lot of his relationship stuff and all that, so that's why I do a lot of his videos. But Anton got to realize what he really is, I'm not trying to be mean, but you got to realize what you really are, bruh. And stop trying to spin a narrative because how you vote politically. Because that person that you want to rock so hard for, if you ran into a Derek Chauvin, that person would not be there for you. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be funny. And I'm not trying to make the video political. But him really thinking that a certain somebody would really run to his rescue, or believe that that there's no way that he'll run into a racist cop. You are a Pacific man, you are a black man, and it is highly likely that you could run into a Derek Chauvin. Do not think twice that you won't, just because how you vote and who you rock with, because I guarantee you that person will not be there for you, and they will not show up to you know what. If they do show up to your home going due to a situation regarding a cop, they ain't gonna be the ones trying to push for a transparent investigation. They're not gonna be trying to lock that cop up for what they did to you. They're gonna say, oh well, ha ha ha, he supported me, he a fool for supporting me. I don't support people who look like him, ha 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 ha, and laugh right in front of Anton's family. So, but again, you are allowed to rock with whoever you want to rock with politically. I'm just saying in general. This whole thing, like how he just said, most times. Yeah. Not a person who look like you, though. It ain't no most times. Is all the time. How they act is usually most times uncivilized. There's some out there who know how to act civilized, but most of the time, when it comes to people like us, it is more times than not, they want to act uncivilized. And like I already said earlier in the video, there are people who act crazy too, and then the cops have to act crazy. I'm not saying that. But there is a lot of cops out there too who are racist, and you do have to remember why cops were really invented for in the first place. They were created to go and catch people like us and return us back to the slave owners. So that is the truth, regardless if you like it or not. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification and join the Young Tripp family.
Caught you on camera point, dog. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Most times.
What do you mean you're upset that the store caught you on camera shoplifting, and now the cop is like, no, I have to arrest you. They want to press charges, like I have to arrest you, and you're just cussing and spitting in their face. What? What do you mean the hotel wants to kick you out because you are drunk and causing fights with people and they want you trespass? And the cops are like, look, we're not even going to take you to jail. We're just going to take you to another hotel, and you refuse. Now you're in prison. What are we talking about? A lot of y'all don't know how to act.
And police officers are now exercising an extreme, and when I say extreme, I mean extreme level of restraint at some of the stuff that people are doing. And when I grew up,
I don't think that they're exercising their strength of resent. Maybe like the good ones who have always been doing that they probably are doing that. But the ones who are being uncivilized and being uncivilized mutts are continuing to be that because that's the way they've always been. So, I mean, that is the truth. Anton, because of the side politically that he rocks with, always back the blue. So that's why he has to say the things that he say. But the truth is that there are good cops, there are bad cops, and you just got to keep your eye out for which ones you're dealing with. And yeah, it's just best to don't be out here just committing crimes though either, because that could be the best way for you to avoid it in the first place. But in certain situations, you can't avoid it either. And then all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation with a racist cop and they're siding with somebody because of race and all that, and trying to come after you, hurt you and all that. It happens. But for people who don't want to see it because your political party doesn't want you to see it and want to spin a certain narrative, and you want to back them up even though you're a black person, which that's absolutely insane. But I get what this lady is saying though. There are good cops out there, but there are also bad ones too. It ain't no most times, it ain't no most nothing. It is really just evenly. There's good ones and there's bad ones. You know, there's really no number to know which is the more of majority of what. It's just, it is what it is. And you just got to hope that you don't run across the bad ones, or if you do, hopefully that a good one shows up that's a veteran that can keep that other one in line, or you can request a supervisor or something. Or just let them go through their process and you can go to jail and then, live to fight another day. And then you go to court and you say, hey, they were being racist. You document everything and show it, and then try to get out of it that way. Let's continue and get a civil rights attorney like Ben Crump.
It was just a completely different extreme. And when I say extreme, I mean extreme level of restraint at some of the stuff that people are doing. And when I grew up, it was just a completely different thing because they were more aggressive, because they were more vigilant in the way that they had to deal with people and being, accordingly. People actually respected police officers a lot more. Again, I was having a conversation with police officers at the gas station yesterday. One of them asked to take a picture, and so we flicked it up, and then I was just letting them know. We chopped it up for like 5 minutes, and I was just letting them know, hey, listen, I appreciate y'all. Y'all literally really go unheralded. You guys are deserve way more respect. The fact that you are the first responders and you pull up to the scene first, if anything was to ever happen, and y'all put y'all lives on the line while at the same time saying that y'all, eventually y'all want to get home, and y'all get hurt, y'all get bit, y'all deal with all kind of nonsense on a regular basis, and people show a level of disrespect towards you, I think it's wild. I think it's crazy. I think it's wild. And the body cam footage, and remember, a lot of this came from defunding the police, right? They were asking to defund the police. They were saying to redirect resources towards things that they felt like community policing. No, it's some straight up criminals out here that's doing some stuff that they're not supposed to do. And the body cam footage.
And I'm not saying that there isn't criminals out here doing things they're not supposed to do. But defunding the police is because the police have done things that they don't have no business doing. Again, sitting on somebody's neck for 10 minutes. What makes you need to do that? Nothing. Nothing. Mistaking a push button machine for a taser. How do you do that if you can see? No, that doesn't happen. Then you shouldn't be a cop. Shooting into somebody's house, while in the middle of the night while they sleep, because you think that their ex is there, which they have some responsibility for dating that person that they didn't have no business dating. But also, why would you shoot into somebody's house in the middle of the night while they sleep in the case of Breonna Taylor's case? So, and now that, in her case, obviously she stopped dating that guy and was dating somebody new at the time. But again, you were dating him. And then obviously that's what led to your situation. So again, but still, why would you show up to somebody's house in the middle of the night and execute a no-knock warrant and be firing into their house because you're trying to ram into their house? So the new boyfriend grabs his push-button machine thinking somebody's trying to break in and start shooting. And then the police fire back and hit the young woman. Absolutely insane. So it's a lot of different situations that make you understand why the police was defunded. Obviously I talked about Kim Potter, talked about George Floyd and Derek Chauvin. So yeah. Let's not also forget about Garrett Rolfe. He just got charges regarding to the Rayshard Brooks not too long ago, and I released that video dropped against him. Then he got into it with a man at a bar because he didn't like the price of his drinks and tried to fight the people at the bar. But again, if you're on one specific side of the political aisle, you don't want to see all that. You want to pretend, turn your head and pretend like you didn't see that part though. Because the person that you rock with politically doesn't want to see that and pretend like it doesn't exist. And that is wrong. Let's continue.
Proving it. Resources towards things that they felt like community policing. No, it's some straight up criminals out here that's doing some stuff that they're not supposed to do. And the body cam footage is proving it. Let me know what you guys think inside of the comments. The Patreon, link to the Patreon is in the description. Just dropped a video in it yesterday. Awesome. And I'm going to be doing a live stream tomorrow in the Patreon. In addition to that, Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to keep you guys in the loop.
Yeah, as a person, like I said, as a person who does all this, I hold the suspects accountable when they actually really do something, but I also hold these uncivilized mutt cops accountable. But there's people out here just because they want to rock with one side of the political aisle and don't want to look at the facts is why this stuff will continue to happen until both sides of the aisle say that this enough is enough. I think about the guy who I posted his video where they shot in his car, I think 28 times because they thought he was black, which, Anton, he won't report on stuff like that because the person that he supports politically is against, reporting the truth about certain things and about things, people being racist and all that. Nope. There ain't no such thing as racist. Yeah, but police officers shot into a man's car, into a white veteran's car at that, 27 times, thinking that he was black, let him bleed out and pass right there when he could have actually been saved. But see, Anton will never put that on his channel. See, I put all things on my channel, and that's what makes my channel great, because I do music, my professional music. Check out my song, Foreign Girls Like Me, just dropped that. I put music on my channel. I put reactions, different types of reactions, regardless of the race of the suspect or victim. As you see, I put Susanna Morales' case and the whole situation with Miles Bryant. I put all of that stuff on my channel. So that's what makes my channel great. I don't try to put my political views only on my channel. That's not how I rock. I put everything based off of the case on my channel, on all sides of the aisle of all cases, regardless if it's how I feel politically or not. Let me know what y'all think. I'll have the original video pinned at the top of the chat and in a link in the description. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. If you have any videos that you run across that you want to hear me react to on the channel, post it in my community tab or send it to me through direct message over on Instagram or FB. If you have any situations involving police misconduct, injustice, violations of civil rights involving you, a friend, a relative, or anybody that you know that's experiencing that, or yourself, send that to me through direct message on FB or Instagram as well too. Give me the details. Let me know if there's a civil rights attorney similar to Ben Crump involved, or Ben Crump himself. Let me know the details of the case involving you or whoever it involves. Let me know if it does involve somebody else, if they're still here, or if the cops, sent them to the Lord and Savior. If you want to come on and speak for them, if they want to come and speak for themselves, if they are still here, or if you just want me to put more coverage out on the case and you just want to give me the information and send me the news links and all that, that's fine as well too. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. And also come follow me over on my professional FB account and Instagram account. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. And also make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. Peace.